Back here in Arkansas, one of Mr. Trump's former press secretaries leads the race to become the state's next governor. We thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Rolly Hoyt.
And I'm Faith Woodard. All three candidates took to the debate stage today, laying out their platforms on big issues like taxes and the state's ban on gender-affirming care. Tonight, THV 11's Frederick Price brings us the highlights.
On this final day of PBS debates before Arkansas voters begin casting their ballots, Republican Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Democrat Chris Jones, and Libertarian Ricky Dale Harrington all stood with the same thing in mind, becoming Arkansas's next governor. On the topic of state versus national politics, is there too much focus in Washington, D.C., or is this race focused on Arkansans?
I think the places where we can make the biggest difference and transform our state and impact and empower families is at the state level.
Jones says the focus remains on Arkansans.
We need preschool broadband and jobs across the entire state, and that's, as governor, that's certainly what I would focus on.
Meanwhile, Harrington believes the division on Capitol Hill is having an impact in the natural state.
We've got to find a way to get away from the violence, the anger, and the hatred that is so prevalent in our country.
On taxes, the three hopefuls are planning to slash some of the money Arkansans are paying. Harrington says he'd like to get rid of the grocery rate.
I can't even believe that Arkansas ever had a tax on the food that goes into people's mouths.
Meanwhile, Sanders says she'll focus on phasing out state income tax.
If we are putting this much money into the system and our results are actually getting worse as we put more money in, that is not a standard by which I think we can operate.
Jones says he's all for cutting taxes so long as it's done responsibly.
The math has to add up. You cannot eliminate 55% of the state revenue and then not cut something.
Finally, on to Arkansas's ban on gender-affirming care, which is currently the center of a federal trial. The candidates were asked if they think the bill should have passed. Jones and Harrington believe the decision belongs to the parents and families.
I don't question either one of my opponents' love for their family. I don't question their desire to make the decisions for their children. And I wouldn't question any other Arkansans.
We live in a free society. People have the right to self-determination.
Huckabee Sanders says it's the government's job to protect people when kids are not old enough to make life-changing decisions.
They are not capable of making adult decisions at that age. And we need to do a better job of making sure we not only protect them in this instance, but across the board.
The fate of each of these candidates will rest in the hands of Arkansans, with early voting beginning on Monday. In Conway, Frederick Price, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Frederick. As for where those candidates stand with voters, Sanders is leading in the race according to the new poll conducted by Hendrix College and Talk Business and Politics.
51% of people surveyed said they'll vote for the Republican. Jones is about 10% behind her. Harrington is sitting at about 3%, while 5% say they are still undecided.